Good afternoon, David.
Good afternoon, good morning, and good night to you, Thomas.
Oh, it's good night already. It's good night already here on PTM.
PTM. We need to get. We need some PTM hats and PTM mugs.
We do. I thought the Mets hats are official PTM hat.
They are.
That's what you would think today.
They are. They are. Depending on how many players they sign in the offseason.
Yeah. How's it going?
It's good. It's good.
Yeah.
Last night I actually went to bed last night a little worn out from watching basketball, to be honest with you. I usually, it's hard to overload my system with basketball, but last night I went to bed at around 12:30 because that's when the Duke game ended, and I was like, wow, I just watched a lot of basketball.
Yeah, and that was on a small slate too.
Yeah, a small NBA
Gotcha.
slate, but when you combine the college and the NBA together, it was intense.
It was a fun Pelicans Grizz game.
Yes, that was awesome. I mean, Ja Morant. It's too bad Zion didn't play because that would have been highlight reels on both sides. But McCollum put on a show for the Pels, and Alvarado, who we were talking about yesterday, really had some big plays. I actually think he was kind of the player of the game.
Why is he not starting for them? He should be starting for them, I think. CJ's not a point. CJ's not a point. I understand because they don't. It's because of Zion's defense being so bad. Then if you put Alvarado out there, then you can't play Herb Jones, I guess, is what they're.
Yeah, I think they've got a good mix. Who's really stepping up is we were joking about him the other day, but Larry Nance.
Yeah,
he actually looks better than Joval. I wouldn't be surprised by the end of the season if with the pace of that team, because Joval's he doesn't really fit in that offense very well.
No,
he's a little too slow for them. So
Nance is for sure a better fit. Yeah,
he is awesome. He is great. And then on the other side, Ja Morant was just amazing. Yeah. Some of these even just the simple plays. He had he intercepted a pass, but he just jumps 4 feet in the air to catch it. I mean, his layup that I sent you, where he just switched hands.
Yeah, he finishes either hand. He's unbelievable.
Yeah. I mean, he's amazing. So
yeah.
I would love to see both of those teams go pretty far and maybe be in the Western Conference Finals. That would be fun, right?
Yeah.
All right. So I went 3-2, so decent. At least back on the winning side, and hoping for more success tonight.
Yes. I don't know where I was last night.
I would have been 4-2 if. Watching that, I think part of the reason why I was worn out is I was watching the Nets Kings game very closely, and just because I had the Sabonis 18.5 points, it was so brutal because he had an awesome game. He
was playing amazing. I watched a lot of it too. Yeah.
He went 6 for 6 from the field, 5 for 5 from the free throw line, and he still missed his total for the game because they just blew him out. And I was just watching that, and I just
he didn't play in the fourth quarter, right?
He didn't play in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Brutal.
They're a fun team, man. I like them a lot.
Yeah, they're a lot of fun to watch too. There's a lot of fun young teams. It seems like there's been a big change from last year in terms of who might be kind of driving or owning the power in the league. So it's exciting. Yeah. All right, so let's dive into today. It was a 10-game slate, right?
Yes.
And I think the unfortunate part is there's just a lot of question marks on either resting players or injuries, and not to just role players, to some of the superstars. So we're going to probably cover a subset of these games, probably focus on the 4 of them that actually have props out on both sides of the game.
Okay.
But you want to just dive into those four? Or you want to talk anything about any of the other six?
I just before we knew which ones we were gonna do, I went through like I did yesterday and looked into the best matchups in terms of discrepancy between offense and defense. Two that were popping out that are on games that we're not going to discuss is Miami and Toronto. We should look at them later when lines come out because corner threes are going to be a thing in this game. Miami's number 2 in corner 3 percentage, and Toronto's number 29 in corner 3 defense. Okay. Toronto is number 5 in corner 3 percentage on the offensive side, and Miami is number 30 in corner 3 defense. So you have the 2 worst teams defending the corner 3 playing each other tonight, and 2 of the top 5 teams that's shooting it. So it'll be something to look at later.
Yeah, especially since you got Bam is a question mark for the game, and Hero is out. So
Hero's out. Yeah.
That means that maybe Duncan Robinson gets some playing time. I don't know if he's a big corner 3 guy, but he's certainly a 3 guy.
Yeah,
so
that's a good point. Let's remember to look at Duncan Robinson. I like that.
Okay. Is there anybody else who stands out in terms of like a corner 3 type of guy that we should be looking
from
at?
From either of those teams? Yeah. Let me hold on. I had it right here. Give me one sec here.
If he wasn't injured, you were going to say Ute Servin.
I was going to say. I thought you were going to say Udonis Haslem.
He's permanently injured, I think.
So Kyle Lowry is shooting 47% from the corner. That's in the 100th percent. He's number 1 amongst all point guards in the corner 3. So that's the guy to target.
I like that a lot.
Miami side.
All right, so let's take a look at Lowry's props when it comes out later.
Okay.
All right. Anything else on the other?
Just the one other was I like I think Zion will play tonight, right? Or he didn't play last night.
He did not play.
Is that an injury thing?
Yeah, I think.
Either way, the one other matchup that looked nice is Chicago is 26th in the league in shots allowed around the rim, and New Orleans is top 5. So I thought that was a good discrepancy there to maybe capitalize on. But let's get into the games we're actually going to cover.
Yeah, I would say look at Larry Nance maybe. We were just talking about him. Shots around the rim.
Great point. Yep.
Probably won't be able to get a prop on him until the game starts, but
yeah.
But let's
great
take
point.
Let's take a look at him.
Note of that.
And then let me just throw in a few other notes. I think this will be fun. The Pacers Hornets, that game only has props on the Hornets side right now because Halliburton is listed as questionable, which obviously is kind of like the center of their offense. I think first of all, I think playing with that question mark, I think playing the Hornets minus 2.5 is a steal. I think the Hornets will run away with this game, especially if Halliburton's out. But the play I liked on this side was LaMelo, 5 threes.
5 threes.
5 threes at plus 235. He went 1 for 9 in his first game, so a little cold off of the injury. But his second game back, which was the last game, he went 4 for 15. So I like the volume, right? I mean, if he puts up another 15, he's only got to hit a third of his shots to get to the 5 mark. And the Pacers are one of the worst defensive teams against the 3. So I like that. And then the only other comment from any of these other games was in the T-Wolves Magic game. It is Bol Bol's birthday today.
Yes, I saw that.
So with Wendell Carter likely out of this game, and
he is likely out. Okay.
And Paolo Banchero definitely out. Bol's going to get some good run.
We're betting on Bol tonight.
Definitely going with the double Bol.
Ooh, I like that.
I actually I was watching a little bit of their game the other day. I love the Bol to what's the other guy's name? Mo Bamba.
Mo Bamba, yeah.
Combo. It's just like these two giants just feeding each other. So So let's keep an eye on Bull for later.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. So let's dive into the 4 that we're going to focus on. The first is ESPN game. We got Boston at Atlanta. Yep. Boston's 11-3. Atlanta is 9-5. Atlanta is getting 3 points, and the total is 235.5. So that might be the highest total we've seen so far. The sharps were on Boston -3 and the over, believe it or not. So what's popping for you here?
Okay, well, crew chief Kevin Scott would say differently than those sharps, because he is 8-3 on the underdog against the spread, and he's 8-3 on the spread. The spread money right now. Atlanta's getting 81% of the spread money, and Atlanta is the underdog. So 2 signs pointing to an Atlanta +3 W tonight. So just to point that out.
Right. They're coming off of a big win against the Bucks, right? Did they take down the Bucks the other day?
They did. Yes, they did.
Right. So really good momentum there.
Yeah.
Okay.
This was the matchup I was looking at in this game. I think we spoke about this last time Atlanta played, but they're number 1 in mid-range frequency. And Boston allows the most shots to opponents in the mid-range in the league. So those are the guys we're going to want to look at. Where are we now? Yeah. Boston. Okay, so here, Boston's starting 5. This makes it even better. Boston's starting 5 are allowing 44% of opponent shots in the mid-range. And just as for comparison's sake, the league average is 30%. And the best team, or the best lineup, starting 5 is the Knicks at 18.7%. So Boston's at 44, Knicks are at 18.
Wow.
So, yeah. So who do I like, given that? I'm going to go back to the well with DeJounte Murray. He's 51% of his shots are coming in the mid-range, and he's shooting 45% on those. So I like him at 20.5 points tonight. Just under him. I mean, you could go with Trey here. The reason I leaned Murray, so Murray's taking 51% of his shots in mid-range. Trey's taking 48. So a few percentage points less. Murray's shooting 45%. Trey's shooting 41%. So I just kind of went with the numbers. You had to pick one. The line's a little lower on Murray, so I went with Murray for that play there.
Yeah, he's coming off of an off game, so I could see him bouncing back here.
Yeah, I think so.
Although these like ESPN matchups do scream Trae Young, right? Like they
do. I know.
Like he loves the stage. So
I know.
I personally don't have either of them, but I'm gonna look into Trae. Like a Trae Tatum. Like monster game.
Yeah, I could see that for sure. I mean, I to pick Murray over Trey for a couple percentage points difference is probably not. And they both can easily get there for sure. I think Trey's 25.5 and Murray's, or 26.5 and Murray's 20.5. So yeah, I think they could both get there. The other play I like on the Atlanta side, we know bigs against Boston's a thing. I have a feeling. Are you on this play? No,
I am. I'm on Capella.
Double,
who I'm always on. Yeah, I looked at the double.
Plus money.
Yeah, it's right around plus 100.
Yeah, 108.
Yeah, I think that's good value. I also think his rebounds were decent value. I think his rebound total was up to 11.5.
I thought he said 10.5, but
maybe 10.5.
Could be.
His points, I personally am going to play his points at 10.5 because I think he's done that in 4 or 5 games, and I feel like he's really being fed the ball by Trae Young a lot. So I like the points. I like his rebound. I like everything with him. So
I mean, the rebounds he's done 9 out of the last 10. Points he's done 7 out of 10.
To get 10.
10 points. Yeah.
All right. So the double seems probably the best value. So
I thought so at 108. That was yeah, I like that play a lot.
Okay. What about on the other side?
I just got one on the other side. The Tatum Brown line, especially Tate, it was high. I don't know, that scared me a little bit, but Tatum's blocking stats are pretty good. He's blocking 2% of opposing shot attempts. He's done it in the last 8 out of 10 games, and the last 3 out of 4 against Atlanta. So I like Tatum to have one block tonight.
All right, I love that.
And you got Capella, and you got guys. It's not like he's got a bit of a size advantage, which I like.
Who's he going to block?
You're making me pick who he's going to block.
Yes.
Who is he going to? John Collins.
John Collins. All right. I kind of like that. I think John Collins has a very blockable game.
Yes, he certainly does. He's got a very blockable guy like that.
What about Horford? You like Horford again tonight? I want to run it back on Horford.
Yeah, that was nice last night, right?
Yeah, it was easy.
Oh, that was 2 nights ago. 2 nights.
Yeah, 2 nights ago. But he did that pretty quickly.
Yeah, he did.
His line is 10.5 points. And he's done that in 6 of 6 in his last 6 games.
Yeah, I like it. Long time Atlanta Hawk as well, playing in Atlanta tonight. So got yeah, I can see that. I didn't do too much digging, but yeah, he's definitely got a good matchup. It's not like he's going up against, though he is good at defending Embiid. That was a bad example, but he doesn't have a big guy like that to deal with. You know, he's got a lack of size from Atlanta.
Yeah, so I actually the other play that I liked, kind of tying that together, I liked Horford 10, Capella 10 points. Put those together, it's plus 128.
Ooh,
so
that's nice.
It's another take on. I mean, listen, the total is 235.5.
Yeah.
So there's going to be a lot of scoring. So I wouldn't get scared of any of these guys hitting 10, 11, 12 points. So
I like that Horford Capella. That's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I just can't wait to see John Collins get blocked by Tatum.
Oh, and the only other thing I'd say is I saw Marcus Smart's game time decision.
Yeah.
So, and Brogdon's out. So Derek White would get some decent run. Might be able to jump on. He's got some, even not playing starters minutes. He's got some nice assist stats to look at. So maybe no lines were out on him yet, but maybe something to look at later.
Okay. All right, so let's go back to actually there was a game before this that we were going to cover, that ESPN game's at 7:30. There's a 7:00 game, the Thunder at the Wizards. Thunder are 6-8, Wizards are 8-6. Wizards are -4.5. I think that line has actually even come down maybe to 4 or 3.5 since I did this, and the total is 229. Sharps didn't really have an opinion on the game, but they liked the under on the 229. I like my play here. I can't wait to say it. So, but I want to see if you support this. So go ahead.
Okay. So just in terms of the game, Bill Kennedy is the crew chief. His games have gone 7-3 to the over. So it opposes what the Sharps are on, and he's also 7-2 with one push on the favorite against the spread. So that would be Washington, right? Yeah. To note, bigs are the matchups in this game on both sides. That's who you're going to want to target, and wings against OKC is another big one. So where did that leave me? This was one stat that I thought was interesting. You have Washington's starting 5 are allowing 44% of opponent shots from 3. League average is 35%, so almost 10 points higher. The problem is is that OKC really doesn't have any great 3-point shooters. So I don't know how to capitalize on this.
Yeah. I mean, SGA puts up 37 points and with 1-3, right?
1-3. Yeah, I know.
It's amazing.
It's unbelievable.
It's like working hard for those points.
Yeah. I looked at Lou Dort, but I mean, he's shooting 30% from 3. I just can't.
I'm actually 0 for my life on
Lou Dort.
For Lou Dort. So I'm done. I'm done with him.
Yeah. The one that I was looking at, there's no lines out yet, but Jeremiah Robinson Earl.
It's been a while. I thought we might have put the 3-name thing to rest, but
no. It could be a possibility. Bigs do really well against Washington. One of the highest impact game totals on my board over here. And given the fact he's actually got some decent 3-point shooting numbers, he just doesn't get a ton. Yeah, he does. He just doesn't get a ton of run. So do with that what you will. But I got one play that I liked. Kyle Kuzma, 8.5 rebounds. They're on 2 days rest. He's done it in 9 of his last 13 on 2 days rest. He's done it in 3 of his last 5, but he had 11 rebounds in all 3 of those games that he went over. And he's leading Washington share wise in rebounds. He's grabbing 20% of all Washington boards. So I like that play.
Yeah, I would just say not that he's a big rebounding impact, but Beal is back for this game, and he's been out the last couple, right?
I think I saw he's on 11 days rest, so it's got to be several games.
Yeah, he hasn't played since 11-4. Yeah. So just I mean, Beal usually gets about 4 or 5 rebounds, so
yeah,
that'll take a little bit away from Kuzma's share.
Okay.
So I would be cautious there, but yeah, I like that. I stayed away from the Wizards side because I just think there's too much uncertainty about the impact of Beal.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So I just can't wait any longer. Let me talk about my play, and then you can talk about the Thunder side.
Okay.
I like Josh Giddey.
Okay. To do what?
We're ready to giddy up. I like his points. We talked about this in the past. We like to find players that are super consistent.
Yeah.
So his point line was 15.5 points.
Okay.
If you look at his last 7 games, I think he's maybe played 9 games or something like that. But his last 7 are kind of the sample that I'm looking at.
Okay.
He's only hit 16 points or more in 4 of those games. But when you take the line down to over 14.5, so 15 points, he's hit that in 6 of 7 games. So he seems to really get to that 15-point mark.
Okay.
That 15, if you take it down to 15, it's minus 135. So still not too bad. If you don't like that, he's also super consistent on rebounds.
Yeah.
In those same games, he tends to get 6 rebounds every game or more. So if I think a really safe play would be something like Giddey 14 points and 5 rebounds once the alt lines come out. But I think you can even do. I personally just go with 15 points because I think he'll get there. Or you can do 15 and 6 rebounds, which would be plus 120. So. The official play is Giddey over 14.5 points, alted down.
Okay. Yeah, I like it. I'm looking at his rebounding numbers here. I see he's 90th percentile among forwards in rebounding. It's pretty good. And shooting, not as great, but I mean, he's shooting 32% from 3.
That's fine. He just needs 15 points.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So, yeah, nice. I like Giddey. Giddy up. I got. That's all. I don't have anything on OKC.
All right. I mean, the obvious one. is you just got to keep playing SGA too.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy is just on fire. 37 points, I think, each of his last 2 games.
Yeah.
They keep setting the line at like 28, 29. I think he's worth playing even in this spot, but I like Giddey better.
Yeah. I was listening to something they were talking about how there's all this talk just a few days ago about SGA to the Knicks or wherever, that basically they're saying he's basically made himself untradeable. Like he's played so well that like OKC can't even trade him now.
Yeah, I mean, at some point you've accumulated so many draft picks. You've got what's the dude's name? The Gonzaga guy, Holmgren, sitting there waiting to play next year. It's like you gotta lock up your stars at some point, right? You can't keep just dumping guys.
And this guy's a star.
He's a top, easy top 10. Debatable top 5 player in the league. So lock him up. Give him a 7-8 year deal or something and let him ride out, his career.
They were talking about in that same thing. They were talking about how he was a decent prospect, but he wasn't. He was in the teens. A lot of guys, Knicks drafted Kevin Knox before him. You know what I'm saying? But it's brutal. But they were teammates too at Kentucky. They were saying he got very lucky in that one season that Chris Paul was in OKC. It was they said it was like graduate school of like being a point guard for him to like be under Chris Paul's wing like that. And they were saying how that's really made him become the player that he is now, and took like the talents and really they're like nobody's better at training and teaching a point guard than Chris Paul. So I thought that was interesting. Yeah.
Who is Chris Paul training on the Suns right now?
Campaign?
Shamit.
Shamit face.
Shamit's out today. We'll talk about that team in a second.
Yeah.
Poor guy.
Yeah.
All right. Let's move on.
Yep.
We do have the Bulls at the Pelicans, which we're not covering. But I just wanted to say that I think that'll be a fun game.
Yeah.
The next one is the Rockets at the Mavs. Rockets are 2-12. Mavs are 8-5. The line on this game was Mavs -9. And the total is 220.5. I think there's a lot of sharp action on the Rockets.
Is it because Luka might rest?
Yeah, they're saying Luka might rest. He had a really tough game last night. And they're probably looking at the Rockets with 2 wins, saying, "Well, this might be a good one to let them sit out." But it'll be interesting. Like there's no other player. I mean, maybe you could debate Giannis, but not even that. That like you remove him from the offense, and like you're removing 50% of the offense. I mean,
he is the only guy like that. Giannis is not. I mean, they can play, they can win games without Giannis there. Dallas cannot.
Yeah. I could see the Rockets winning the game outright if Luka doesn't play.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you like?
So Zach Zarba is on this game tonight. He's 9-2 on the money line money, and right now 83% of the money line money is on Houston. Mm-hmm. So that's one side. He's also 8-3 for the home team, so that's Dallas. So you got opposing ones there, but they were pretty significant. And this guy is a guy to note for various reasons.
Zarb.
There's some chatter about Zarb.
I thought you weren't into those conspiracy theories.
No, I'm just pointing it out. Whether I'm not into or out of, I'm just putting the information out there. So I got one play here and one play only, I think, mainly because I like to stay away from Dallas, especially against a stay away against playing guys against Dallas, especially like a young, volatile team like the Rockets. The Houston guys worry me, so I'm staying away from all them. I'm going to go with Dinwiddie. hoping that Luka doesn't play. But even if Luka does play, I like his line, 19.5. They're on a back-to-back. Last week when he was on a back-to-back, he put up 33. So I like that. Houston's 28th in the league in points allowed. Dinwiddie's second on the team in usage, 25%. He's putting up 124 points per 100 shot attempts. Really good number. So I like Dinwiddie over 19.5 points.
Yeah, that was my play, although I went slightly different direction. I did over 2.5 threes, which he's done in 5 of his last 7 games with an average of around 8 attempts a game. So
yeah, I looked at that.
Doesn't need to shoot a good percentage. The only thing that concerned me is I pulled up a historical of Dinwiddie's performance, which is entirely last year.
Yeah,
without Luka, because Luka I don't think has missed a game yet this year.
Yeah,
and it wasn't very good. Like I was expecting him to like average 25 plus points in those games, but so it can certainly feel weird, like going out there playing without Luka, right? When he like is
it's
the
just
center
so
of your
different.
offense.
The team just operates completely differently, right?
Right. So I could see it being fairly dysfunctional, and him having a fairly poor game. So I wouldn't go crazy on this. But the offense has to come from somewhere. They're going to score 90 plus points. So Dinwiddie over 2.5 threes for me, and you got the points.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, cool. Somewhat aligned. All right. And then we got the Knicks at the Nuggets, which we're not going to cover. Knicks
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
One thing I just wanted to point out that was also putting me on this is that Dinwiddie, he's not one of these guys that is relying on Luka to create shots for him. He's only being assisted on 33% of his makes. So I like that. It's going against what you just said historically, but I like, he's being able to create his own shot, at least so far this season, pretty well. Bodes well for Luka if Luka's not there. That's all I wanted to point out. Yeah.
Okay. I feel a little bit better now.
Good. Go ahead. Sorry, Knicks.
He can make his own dinner, you're basically saying.
Yes.
Okay, good. We're not going to cover the Knicks game, but I just wanted to point out Jokic is out of this game. And the Nuggets are still favored, -3.5. So we'll see what that means. The Knicks are just
nice W last night, though.
Yeah, they're just kind of hanging in there. It's like 7-7. I don't know. They got to make a move, make a push. I still think they're missing a piece.
Yeah, a piece. They made a great point on that same podcast I was listening to last night, where they said, if you talk about teams, you're like, oh, let's break it down. Let's start off. Let's trade away our assets. Like, if OKC decided to do that, right? They have a SGA. Like anybody would want them. If the Knicks decided to do that, who is that guy on the Knicks? The Knicks don't have any real assets. RJ, but
Reddish, RJ.
I mean, Atlanta just gave up on Reddish.
Maybe quickly.
I'm talking about
Mitch Robinson.
Mitch
Robinson, I think, has some value because a lot of teams
stay on the floor.
Yeah, that's the issue, right?
Yeah.
He doesn't have the health, but
yeah.
Anyway,
Knicks are in a bad place.
Enough about the Knicks, but it'll be interesting again to see how the Nuggets perform without Jokic. All right, so on to the last game. I think this was the other ESPN game, right? The Warriors.
I would
at
assume.
the Suns.
I believe so. I would assume.
This is the Warriors are 6-8, so starting to turn it around a little bit.
Yep.
Suns are 8-5. These teams met maybe 2 weeks ago, something like that.
10-25. Yeah.
Yep. And in that game, it was an intense game. The Suns won 134-105, but that was the game where Clay and Booker got into it.
Yeah,
Clay,
that's right.
Booker had a huge game, 30-something points. Got to pet that guy.
Yeah.
And Clay got ejected. So
yes.
There's a big storyline in this one. On the flip side, Cam Johnson, who had a decent game in that game, is out, and the big one is Chris Paul is out as well.
Yeah.
So Suns are missing a lot of pieces. Who do you like here?
All right. Looking at the game, Tony Brothers is on the game tonight. He was also on the Nets Kings last night, but he's 7-3 on the underdog against the spread, and he's also 8-2 for the home team. So both of those are on Phoenix. Would call for Phoenix on this. So just wanted to point that out. I thought this was interesting. With CP3 questionable, I looked at the lineup, the Suns lineup with Campaign at point instead of CP3. They've had 159 possessions with that lineup so far this season. They're allowing opponents to shoot 61% effective field goal percentage and 42% of shots at the rim. So I wanted to look to see who on Golden State I could, who's got a game, post game kind of. They don't have the big center to kind of take advantage of that. And the guy I keyed in on was Draymond.
Okay.
I started to look. My first play was on his points. It's 7.5. He's done it in the last 5 times they played the Suns. He did it in all 5 games. He had 14 in that game against Phoenix 2 weeks ago, or whenever it was, the end of October. He's also done it in 4 of 6 on 1-day rest. 53% of his shots come at the rim, and he's shooting 70% on those shots. Given the good matchup, I like that. But then I dug a little deeper, and I saw he also had some nice rebound and assist numbers against Phoenix. So I think my play is actually going to be Draymond 21.5 par. He's also done it in his last 5 games against the Suns. And in those 5 games, he averaged 26 par in his last 5 games against the Suns. So I think that's my play tonight. Draymond, he does fill out. He'll get you the rebounds and the assists. And if he has a decent game, if he can put up 10 or 12 points, he easily clears this. So that's my play from this game, my one and only.
Yeah, I like Draymond. He had a good game. It's hard to understand, what the impact of Clay getting ejected had on his performance, but he certainly cleared that line easily.
Clay got ejected. That was late in the game, wasn't it?
Third quarter.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it was third quarter. But I'll double check that. But yeah, I was all over the place on this one. Like I was thinking of narratives and trying to. So I really wanted to go with Clay threes. I initially looked at him hitting 4 threes, which he's actually hit in 4 of his last 7 games, and that's plus 136. So pretty good odds there. But yeah, I don't know. He really had a poor game against Phoenix, which tells me that maybe it isn't a good matchup. So I would lay off of that. What I think is a better play with Clay is actually steals. So he's had a steal in 5 of his last 5 games. All the games prior to that, he didn't have a steal. So I think he's going to be trying.
He's going to be trying to steal one from Booker tonight for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
I like that play. I like that play a lot.
So he's going to be aggressive, even if he doesn't have a good shooting game. He's certainly going to be turning it up on defense. So it's minus 155. So a little juicy, but let's go with that. And then I turned to rebounds, and I looked at Ayton. His line was at 8.5 rebounds, which he's only done in 2 of 10 games this year. So that was concerning to me. But we typically do like bigs against Golden State, right?
Yep.
I think
for sure.
I think the Warriors just sent Wiseman to the G League too, didn't they? Did you hear that?
I heard. I didn't hear it confirmed, but yeah, I was hearing something about they were going to give him some extra run. Yeah,
right. So
in
even
the G League, yeah.
Yeah, even less centers on that team now. Mm-hmm. But in the prior matchup against Golden State, he had 14 rebounds. So I think he's a good play on rebounds. I would probably, it was minus 150 for over 8.5 and plus money for 10. So I would probably look at his at Ayton for 10 rebounds. And then the other person on rebounds that I was intrigued by was actually Booker.
Yes.
So his line was 4.5 rebounds. He has done that in, I believe, 5 of his last 7 games, I believe it was, minus 120. So, but his last 2 games, he's had 8 and 8. So again, he's going to be, kind of going after it, especially without Paul there. He's kind of the veteran on the floor, the leader on the floor. So I like Booker over 4.5.
He did only have 2 that last game that they played.
Yeah, but again, Paul isn't there, so
yeah.
And he does eat up probably 3 or 4 rebounds a game. So yep, Devin Booker over 4.5 rebounds is my first play, and Clay 1 steal is my second. And I got a little lean on Ayton rebounds over 8.5.
Yeah, I love Booker. I didn't bring it up. I probably should have. Wings against Golden State are one of like the highest impact game totals that I'm tracking. They've allowed 12 impact games. In those games, Wings are averaging let's see here. Wings are averaging 20 points, 4.5 rebounds, and 4 assists. The 3 numbers probably huge. Yeah, and 3 threes in those games. But you also have games in there. It's bringing down the total. But you've had some monsters like Booker had 34. Ingram just had a 26. Max Strus had 24 last week. Kate Cunningham put up a 23. So yeah, I like. It's a good matchup for Booker. I like it.
Yeah, I would say yes and no. I think history says yes, but I think once you have a few offensive weapons off the floor, they're going to be fully concentrated on Booker tonight. So I think his line is a little too high at 27.5. He's certainly going to get the shooting volume, but the question is, can he convert? So we'll see. That's why I kind of went different direction with him for rebounds. So
nice. Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, that I think wraps it up. Happy birthday to Bol, and also yes. Josh Green from the Mavs, who probably plays 10 minutes a game. So,
all right, Bol day.
It's the Bol day. All right.
All right. Good work, David. I'll talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.